IT pros weigh in on AI's role in coding, doing more of what they hate the most. And you know what I find particularly egregious about this? I was told that AI was going to allow me to do the things I loved even more. So what the hell? What the hell, man? Lies. Instead of writing code, programmers complain they now have to proof one. They have to essentially confirm code written by AI. So you're essentially like a bystander at your own job. Many coders are now forced to check AI's job. Many coders feel pressure to use AI to optimize processes, and many programmers prefer code writing to code reading. So there was a survey it was just a small survey conducted, but I've seen a few of these. And I think what's going to happen, I'm making a prediction, in the next 2 to 3 months, there will probably be some scientific papers that gather up all these surveys, and once that n number is high enough, it no longer becomes a correlation. You can actually make a causative study of self-reported state of being with software developers or programmers with regards to their use of AI or something like that. So I think we're going to get more insight into this. So they ask a bunch of questions like, what do you have to do with AI, code quality, etc. And essentially, it comes down to people are now code reviewers, not code writers. But that's usually the part that most programmers don't really like as much as writing the code, right? Because when you're writing the code, you're solving a problem. That's kind of where the happiness index is for a lot of programmers, maybe most. You feel like you're solving something, you're creating something, you're putting it into the screen, and it generates something that you imbued, right? You embodied your brain power, embodied that outcome. But now you're being kind of forced in some respects, depending on where you work, for example, to have that be done by an AI. And so the fun part is gone. And so now you're just sitting there like reviewing a bunch of code from what is the equivalent of a very bad junior level coder. And you do that on repeats, constantly until it gets it right, or it doesn't ever. Which also happens. And then you're like, well, now I have to just deal with like a pile of crap and solve it. And that's not as fun as you solving the problem to begin with. I will say, okay, I'm going to put a little bit of a positive twist on this. There are times when you can ask an AI to do some low complexity level of code, and it'll do it well. And you're like, oh, holy crap, that saved me time. There is no doubt. Okay, I'm not taking that away from anybody. That does happen. But the general feeling here is that that's not what's happening. That programmers are being relegated more and more to the stuff that they don't want to do, not the promised, you will do more of what you do want to do. And I have gone over studies again where what was it? The productivity output gains of AI end up being net equivalent to the checks that have to happen as a result of those AI outputs. So the people who have to check the AI outputs are putting in about the same amount of time as is saved by having the AI output. That's like a general industry-wide trend. I believe it was a UK survey that did that. And essentially, it's like, well, I mean, that's great because it means that there are productivity gains, but then it comes at a cost of, well, now you have to check those productivity gains, and that cost makes everything equal, which then you have to then factor in, well, how much are we paying for this then? We're paying to the tunes of billions of dollars a year to have net equal gains. It's not a gain, right? That's a misnomer. Then at that point, the word gain doesn't exist at that point, right? So this is not the greatest, thing to be reading. And then I can't get rid of this stupid ad because of the archiving thing, but some of the programmers who answered this particular survey are saying, well, It's good when you want to do low complexity boilerplate stuff that's like very common in terms of patterns, things like this. It can produce good outputs that way. But beyond that, it starts to get really weird, and it doesn't solve the problems that they hope it solves, right? So there you go. This is unfortunately what it means is that this is going to just continue, as I've covered before. People are going to do this more. Programmers are going to be using this more. Some programmers, because they don't understand how dumb it is to go all in on AI, because they just don't understand what they're doing. And in some cases, because there are external pressures and they would like to not do this, but everybody needs a paycheck, and what are you going to do? So hopefully, and then of course there's a downwind consequence to regular consumers who already are frustrated with the state of software before AI came out, and now they're just going to get more frustrated as we produce more slop. So it's just bad all the way down. Hopefully this information helps to arm people to be persuaded to do better, or to persuade others around them that we should be doing better. Hopefully. We'll see.